Jen.
Jen, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So we have a presentation that we will share. Jen, we have you going right after Betsy and Noreen, if that's okay. Great.
Jen.
Jen, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Great, so we should be streaming now. 6:28, we'll get started in 2 minutes. Hi, Alec. Hi, Noreen.
Hi. Hi. Do you guys hear my landscaper in the background?
Barely, you're okay.
Okay.
And we are streaming to YouTube and recording now, just so you're aware. Alec, I like the hat.
Oh, fully decked out. There's my class
Oh,
2020.
very nice.
Looking good, looking good.
The hat showed
Yeah,
up
how about
today,
ya?
so I had to wear it. And other than that, the T-shirt I've been running around all day. I figured didn't look board-like, so.
Looks great.
Hi, Marikita.
I mean, if we want to go full on, I can.
Great. Anthony will also, DeRosa will also join us, but he's coming up from the soccer game in a couple minutes, so we'll see him shortly. We'll present a slideshow, and then when we get to questions, and we're going to be pretty tight on time here, so it's possible that questions we'll have to answer on the weekly update. Hold on 1 second, I have someone calling just to make sure we're live. Hi, Ernest. I have confirmation that we are live on YouTube. So with that, I'll share my screen. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I'll share now. You should be able to see presentation. I want to welcome everyone to the 2020 back to school night. As you can tell, this is a very different feel from a typical year, but what doesn't feel different during COVID times? We want to start with some introductions, then provide you some important information that we think will help frame the year, and then answer questions if we have time. If we haven't had the pleasure to meet, my name is Kyle Hosier. I'm the principal of the junior senior high school. Somehow it's my 3rd year already, although with COVID, it feels like maybe a little bit longer. Before coming to Edgemont, I was an assistant principal at Chappaqua at Horst Greeley High School, and I started my career in the South Bronx in Harlem as a history teacher, then dean, then made the move to administration. And just to make sure that I have no free time, I have a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old at home. I'll turn it over to Miss Johnson to say hello.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Jennifer Johnson. I'm one of the assistant principals, and I work primarily with grades 7 and 8. This is my 8th year here at Edgemont, and I'm very excited to welcome back all of our students, particularly our 8th graders, and I'm excited to get to know our new 7th graders. Prior to joining the administration at Edgemont, I was an assistant principal at Rye High School, and I was also a Spanish teacher at Rye High School for 10 years.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Joseph, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hosier. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be welcoming you all tonight for back to school night, which feels very different. It's my 1st year at Edgemont, although like Mr. Hosier said, COVID puts ages to a job. I feel like I've been here a long time, gotten to know a lot of people. So it's been really exciting. Prior to coming to Edgemont, I was at Horace Greeley High School in Chappaqua, New York. I was director of science research and also science department co-chairperson, have taught various levels of science, but I also started my career in New York City in the Bronx And then kids and things brought me to the suburbs. I have big babies at home. I have a sophomore in college at Northeastern University, and I have a rising senior or junior at Somers High School. So keeping me busy. I'm happy to be welcoming you all. Thank you.
Now we'd like you to hear from several people who do so much on behalf of the district and on behalf of the junior senior high school. I'd like to have Dr. Newell say hello.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hosier, Ms. Johnson, and Ms. Joseph, and welcome parents and guardians. It is such a thrill to see your happy children. Imagine junior, senior high school students happy to be in school, a far cry from the days when they were hoping for a snow day. It does feel good to have the students back. I'm sure you're looking forward to meeting and hearing from your child's teacher. Please join me this evening in acknowledging the work of our teachers and recognizing their role in creating successful learning experiences for our students via the hybrid and remote learning options. Their hard work and dedication are paying off. I'd like to briefly point out two broad district goal areas for this year. The first is improving instruction regardless of the educational setting. We chose the word improving intentionally as this is an active goal and one we will continue to act upon as we review, reflect, and apply new learning for success in this instructional environment. Thank you for your feedback and understanding as we work to shift our approach to teaching, learning, and assessing. The second goal area is continuing to develop a curriculum, policies, and practices in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have a number of volunteers who responded to an invitation to join a committee on a diversity, equity, inclusion topics. We will be scheduling a meeting with this committee this fall. So thank you to all of you who volunteered, and we look forward to getting that started. Success during the pandemic has depended upon collaboration, partnership, and support. Thank you, parents and guardians, and thank you, community groups, for your generous support to improve learning for our students. Enjoy the evening, and I know you'll hear from our important partners who recently gifted us with some wonderful omnidirectional microphones. So really helpful to all of the students remotely. And I'll pass it back to you, Mr. Hosier.
Thank you, Dr. Newell. We're fortunate to have not one, but two board members with us this evening. I'd like to turn it over to Marikita to say a few words.
Sorry, forgot to unmute. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Marikita Bloomberg. I've been on the board for the last, I guess this is my third year. I have kids in 6th grade at Sealy Place and an 8th grader and a 9th grader at the junior senior high school. As you can see here, there are 7 members to the in the school board, and the school board is an elected board that that anybody who lives in the community can run for. The board plays 3 main roles in the district. It plays the role of kind of hiring and working closely with our really talented administrative staff who have worked endless hours to prepare for this year. So thanks to them for all of their work getting ready for what is definitely not a normal school year. We also set policies for the district, and so outlining different policies around how the facilities get used, what it means to get an Edgemont education, and what we expect of our students and our other community members who engage with the school. And then finally, we are responsible for the budget, and really there we're trying to balance the investments we make in the district to build and create the best educational environment we can, with being fiscally responsible with your money, with the public's money, to make sure that we are spending in ways that are getting the most out of our tax dollars. We as a school board are better, and we as a district are better with the more people involved. So we encourage you to come to school board meetings and to listen to school board meetings. This year it's even easier than ever. We are streaming our meetings on the school board YouTube channel. So please check that out and feel free to listen to some previous school board meetings, we really do get great presentations from the administration on what's going on within the schools. And as we get into budget season, you'll hear more about how the budgeting process works, which is really important since we do have the community vote on the budget. We also would love for people to run for the school board. The school board is an elected body, but the school board nominating committee does a really great job of helping the community kind of offer up their time as volunteers, but then work with them to figure out where we might want to endorse candidates so that they can join the school board and be up for election. So definitely look out for the school board nominating committee if you're interested in potentially running for the school board. And then finally, the school board has, as I mentioned, those three main responsibilities. We aren't the first line of defense, certainly, for any issues you're having with the school. We really respect the administration's role in managing the operations of the school and the work that they do. So please, if you're having any issues with your child, please work starting with your teacher or your counselor. If that doesn't resolve the issue, certainly raising it to the principals and the vice principals is a great second step. And if that still doesn't resolve, you can certainly talk to Dr. Newell about the issue. And certainly after that, if there's really an issue that needs to come to the board, that would be the appropriate time. So, so again, thanks so much for having me tonight. And we look forward to seeing you at a school board meeting sometime soon.
Thanks, Marquita. And Alec, I always like to put you on the spot if you'd like to say a couple words.
Sure. Hi, I'm Alec Clark. I've been in Edgemont now for 25 years. Hard to believe this is my first year after 19 years of having a student in the school that I don't. I have a daughter who was class of 2014, who's second year of med school, and I had twins who just graduated this July, who are now freshmen in college. This is my 5th year on the school board, 2nd year as school board president. Again, I'd just like to thank so much the whole It Takes a Village, the whole Edgemont community for working so hard and coming together to help us get going this year. Obviously, starting with the teachers and the administrators, and then with all the other staff, clerical, custodial. It was a daunting task to just even get the doors open, and I think actually they've exceeded any reasonable expectations, and that doesn't mean that we think things are perfect. We know they're not, but they are continually working to take feedback and figure out how we can continually improve. And your support is a big part of that. We are so thankful, and I think we're going to talk about them a little bit later, but we're so thankful for our partners in the PTA and the PTSA and the Edgemont School Foundation, who I believe we'll talk in a little bit. They've been regular partners all through the years, and this year they've been particularly helpful with some needs that we just could not be met in our very austere budget. But thank you all. If I take regular walks around the neighborhoods, mostly on the Greenville side, but the Celia as well, so feel free to stop me. I have conversations all the time, and it's a great way for me to get sort of a pulse on what's going on in the community, so feel free. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Alec, and we're so fortunate to be able to work with such a supportive, thoughtful board, so thank you for all you do. Now I'd like to turn it over to two of our two co-presidents, Betsy and Noreen, who you probably have seen them outside. They do so much on behalf of our school and our students. So I'll turn it over to Betsy and Noreen.
Hi, my name is Betsy McCormack, and I am a co-president of the PTSA. We all know that Edgemont Junior Senior High School is pretty great, but unlike preschool and elementary school, we no longer get to peek into the classrooms like we used to, or meet with teachers at regularly scheduled parent-teacher conferences. That's where the PTSA comes in. We provide opportunities for you to get a closer look at what's happening on campus. We strengthen communication between the school and home. We disseminate important information that we learn through our frequent meetings with Principal Hosier. The PTSA is your voice into the school. We share your concerns, your suggestions, and your feedback with teachers and administrators. Our kids will likely spend 6 years on this campus. It's critical that we partner together to support the organizations that support us. While school may look different this year, the PTA has already provided funds that impact every student, from virtual science labs to new microphones in all classrooms. Thank you very much for your continued generosity and confidence in our leadership.
Thank you, Betsy.
Good evening. My name is Noreen Jabor. I've been in Edgemont for almost 10 years now, and I have a daughter in 9th grade, another daughter in 4th grade at Sealy, and a little 2-year-old at home. Keeps me busy. This is my 3rd year on the Edgemont Junior Senior High School PTSA board, and my 1st year, and an honor to serve as president alongside Betsy. Educating children has always been imperative to prepare our children to inherit the world, but it's not just the job of the school. And the PTSA, to a large extent, is a close partner of the school to support its educational goal. The PTSA is also a forum for exchanging ideas to enhance the EHS community by serving families, teachers, and the staff of Edgemont. And our mission is to share with administration and teachers the voices of all our children and advocate for the education and well-being of every child and be a supportive resource for the parents and families of the Edgemont community. We work in collaboration with the E-Club, the Edgemont School Foundation, and the Greenville Sealy PTA. And we are looking very much forward to continuing these working partnerships in order to provide an excellent learning experience for our children. And as Betsy mentioned, this school year is different for obvious reasons. And so we encourage you to help us double our efforts to ensure that every student, teacher, and family has what they need to succeed in this very challenging year. So family involvement is a long tradition at our school and one of our greatest strengths. And we welcome parents to join us at our monthly PTSA meetings to provide their input and suggestions and to volunteer in supporting our students and teachers here. And the more engaged you are, I assure you, the more rewarding your family's experience will be here at EHS. So we encourage you to look for opportunities to volunteer and share your experience and your talents, small or big. There is a place for you. So with that, I want to wish all of our students and teachers a wonderful school year, and we really hope to see you around Edgemont. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you to Betsy and Noreen and the entire PTSA for all the work that you do in supporting our school and our students. Dr. Newell spoke a little bit about the new speakers that were just purchased in collaboration between the PTSA and the ESF. I want to now introduce Ms. Jennifer Ratner, who is a chairperson of the Edgemont School Foundation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Ratner. I am the chair of the Edgemont School Foundation. I have 2 little boys, both at Sealy Place, and I've been on the School Foundation for over 4 years now. For those of you not familiar with the School Foundation, we are a foundation that awards monetary grants to the district, to the teachers, which then directly go to your students, that support curriculum, students and teachers, programs, speakers, professional development. It runs the gamut. Since our inception in 1993, we have awarded over $2 million to the district. And right now we are averaging grants that are about $100,000 a year. This summer, realizing that things were changing a little bit, we've instituted a micro grant program, which actually allows teachers to apply directly to us for almost instantaneous approval, with principal's approval, obviously, with programs or resources that can be used directly in the classrooms, given the changing environment, teaching needs, and student needs. So hopefully some of your students and your children are noticing that they have extra resources, and possibly those were provided by the school foundation. This summer at the elementary school, we've provided a complete renovation to the Sealy Library. We did the Greenville Library last summer. And a few years ago, we provided the renovation to the E-Lab up at the high school. As Kyle has mentioned, and as Betsy and Noreen have alluded to, knowing that school and education is changing, there was a joint venture about a week ago to provide microphones, which are dual microphones for students in the classroom and students at home, and speakers. The school foundation, along with the PTA and the PTSA, has a joint grant that we have approved and fully funded for the entire district. It is the K-12 microphone program. So hopefully those of you who chime in at home can hear a little bit better what's going on in the classroom, and those of you in the classroom can hear the students at home a little bit better. It is imperative that all of the community organizations work together at this point, and the school foundation is here to help the district, the community, the teachers, and the students in any way possible. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jen. Next, we'd like to have Ms. Joseph just talk a little bit about what are the details that people need to know to navigate the rest of our Back to School Night event.
Thank you, Mr. Hosier. Yeah, so the purpose of the night is really to get a glimpse of what your child's day looks like by meeting with the various teachers. So in order to do that, what you'll need tonight is your child's Edgemont email account and their password to enter every single Google Meet link. You'll need your child's schedule, which you should have been able to access through the parent portal. And if not yet, you can still get there. And the Google Sheet that we also sent you with the meet links for each teacher. And the schedule for the night is what you can find on the right side, where every class is about 8 minutes each. Thank you, Mr. Hosier.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. So over the summer, we thought a lot about what does it look like to have school during a pandemic. This picture here is actually the cover of Campus that one of our students drew that was just released. And all of the planning that went in, there was a lot of uncertainty, right? So we have a new schedule. What does it look like to have half the students at home, half the students on campus? How can we expect students to wear a mask when they're here? It seems so different than what we would do in a normal year. How do we make sure that students are socially distanced? What does it look like to have multiple arrivals and dismissals? How do we set up classrooms? There were so many unknowns, and we're very happy with how the year has started. We think we have a solid foundation to build off of. And part of that is just the flexibility of our teachers, the hard work and the collaboration between our faculty and staff and all of our parents and students at home. So we think that we have a good flow going to the year, but we also know that we have some work to do. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Johnson to talk a little bit about what are some of the things that we think are going well.
Thank you, Mr. Hosier. As Mr. Hosier said, this is a challenging year. However, we are extremely fortunate that so far, many things are going very well. First, we were happy to provide our students with a predictable daily school routine. We think it's so important for them to be engaged in learning with their teachers and with their classmates every day. And our outstanding faculty has more than risen to the occasion, and they are providing a good mix of synchronous and asynchronous learning opportunities for each student. Our students who are learning from home are engaged with teachers, they're engaged with their classmates, and they are keeping up with all of the material. Teachers are trying new instructional approaches and techniques in order to engage all students. And of course, first and foremost, safety is our main concern. And we are very pleased that students are wearing masks very consistently every day while on campus. Back to you, Mr. Hosier.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. And as we said, we know that we have a number of things that are going well, but there are also items that we're thinking about that we know need a little more attention. Assessments are probably on the forefront of our mind, knowing that we have a lot of different approaches that are being used by teachers with assessments. Some assessments are happening outside of school hours. Some assessments are happening in classrooms, some are happening at home. So we have a lot of different strategies that are going to be used now and moving forward. And our teachers are collaborating to identify what works best for students. And that's, you know, an area of focus that we're certainly thinking about moving forward. The amount of screen time for students, if you think about how much time they're looking at computers or their screens at home and on campus, we want to make sure that that's not an amount that is going to put their health at risk. Workload, we want to make sure that the work that students do at home and on campus is manageable. We want to make sure that it's not too little, not too much. And we're going to be collecting some feedback from students on that very topic. It's a skill that's new in order for teachers to be able to support students who are both at home and in classrooms. Just how do you divide your attention? How do you make sure you're supporting students? And we think teachers are doing a great job with that. That's a skill that they will certainly continue to build as the year progresses. And then student connectivity, we want to make sure that students are connected, that they are engaged, that they're communicating with friends. And that's true for students at home and students who are in the hybrid model. We want to make sure that students know that we have counselors, psychologists, and a lot of different activities for them here and different clubs to engage in. With that, we'd like to talk a little bit about communication. So Ms. Johnson, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So communication in any school year is very important, and particularly this school year. In fact, tonight, that is why you are here, to communicate with teachers, to learn about expectations and how best to help your students be successful. We want you to encourage your students to communicate directly with their teachers. If they have any questions or concerns, they should reach out to their teacher directly, and so should you. Hopefully you've received by now weekly updates from all of your child's teachers, and you are provided with a glimpse into what's going on into each class and what assessments might be coming up. Also, I'm sure you have received Mr. Hosier's weekly updates. He typically sends those out on Saturday, so please look for those if you haven't received them. He will share any kind of information about school events, extracurriculars, or academic issues as appropriate. And we're very thankful to all of you who are complying with our Easy Screen app reminder every morning. We want to encourage you to continue that because we need to ensure that students are healthy and safe to be on campus. In the next few weeks, you will receive communication about some optional parent coffees that we will be hosting, particularly for our 7th grade parents as well as other grade levels. We are always here to address any questions or concerns that you might have. And please, we encourage you to reach out to us while these concerns can still be resolved. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Hosier.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. And finally, we'd like to do an update on health and safety. Ms. Joseph?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hosier. So you've been hearing all night that our main concern has been health and safety of all individuals on campus. And the 3 ways we do that is by looking at masks. All faculty, staff, and students should be wearing masks at all times. They're socially distancing on campus and off campus, and also maintaining proper hand hygiene throughout the day. We're trying to monopolize and leverage this good weather we're having. We're so lucky. So to monopolize and leverage the good weather, we're keeping our windows open whenever possible. So please have your kids dressed warmly and in layers. Outdoor spaces are being used as well, just to leverage good weather. Ms. Johnson talked about the Easy Screen. Thank you so much for filling that, and all students, faculty, and staff are doing that every single morning. It is so important that we look at things like sniffles and a common cold, where we typically would send our child to school. During the pandemic, we urge you to please keep them home until they recover. They can always opt in for remote learning. And if there are COVID-like symptoms, they must be cleared by a doctor to return to school. Besides that, we also need to prepare for unforeseen emergencies. So with safety drills, we try to do that. The state mandates 8 evacuation drills and 4 lockdown drills a year. We've already had 1 last week, and we sent communications home. It went really well. Everyone was masked and socially distanced and quiet, exactly the way it should be. We're having a lockdown drill tomorrow. Greenberg Police will be here to help us and assist us, and we also send communications out. So thank you so much for partnering on this health and safety with us. Thank you, Mr. Hosier. Back to you.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. I think if there's one thing that we want you to walk away from this conversation with, it's our appreciation for the partnership, the collaboration that we're experiencing this year. We know that teachers are working really hard. We see that students are working really hard, and we know that for parents at home, there's a lot of work that goes into this to support students to get through of what feels like a very difficult year. We think that the year is going as well as could be expected, but recognize that we still have more work to do, and we look forward to engaging in that work with you. We want to make sure that you're not late to your first meeting. So as a reminder, please make sure you use your child's Edgemont account in order to access the Google Meets. You need your child's schedule, and you need your child's teacher's Meet links, which all of that has been shared with you. If you run into any trouble, we do have 3 help desks that are open. Please click on the link and we'll be there to support you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great back to school night. Thank you. All right.